Sixers fans, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Lawrence Arnell, and this is Sixers City, where we talk Sixers basketball. You guys put up with me. My last video was a little bit longer than my usual stuff, so I'm not going to force you to sit through a super long video today. We just got a little bit of an update about Paul George's injury situation, the knee, the hyperextension heard around the world. So Shams hit us up a few hours ago with a post on Twitter about Paul George's knee. Philadelphia 76ers star Paul George has a bone bruise and no structural damage to his left knee. He will be reevaluated in approximately 1 week from the team. I think that's great news. It sounds good. We got good information from all parties involved. I got a story here from Newsweek as well. Newsweek got a quote from our head coach, Nick Nurse. Nurse had this to say. It was PG was here today and got looked at. Obviously, the guys are back home from Atlanta. They play tonight. PG was here today and got looked at again. Everything checks out okay, Nurse explained. They're going to do some further imaging this afternoon to see if there's anything else. He's in good spirits. A number of vets didn't practice today, coming off a late night, but we'll see what happens, right? Obviously, they just played a couple days ago. We're still in the preseason, so everybody wasn't playing. Nurse actually had to say that Paul wasn't going to play tonight anyway. A few guys aren't going to play, Nurse actually said, and it's not surprising. Guys are going to get rest. It's preseason. Regular season game starts shortly. The nine-time All-Star said that he immediately knew what happened and took himself out of the game after the injury. Paul quote saying, "I felt that it hyperextended, and immediately it was all right. I need to get taken out of the game and looked at. But if you ask me, I'm not too concerned about it." This is all good news. Apparently, it's not a serious injury. Nothing that's going to keep Paul out of the games for any extended period of time. It doesn't sound like he's going to miss the opener against the Bucks, which is great. It sounds like he'll be in there against the Pistons when I'll be in the building. Right? I got tickets to go see them. Tobias Harris's homecoming, and it's good. It's good. It sounds like right now, not that big a deal. It is simply a hyperextended knee. From Jacob Moreno on Twitter, ESPN's player rankings came out for the season. ESPN ranked Paul George 21st and Tyrese Maxey 19th in their top 100 players heading into the 2024-2025 season list. This is what I found most interesting, right? Because Paul George, with a slightly busted knee, is still number 21 in the league. Says a lot for the potential of this team and the impact of picking up a Paul George this offseason. That Paul George, with an albeit silly, an albeit injury, is still a top 20-something player in the league. Just goes to show that if this is not, and I would venture to guess that if Paul George had not been hurt at this particular time, when this list is coming out, this list came out last week, Paul George is probably a little higher in that list. He probably breaks the 20. He, without a doubt, breaks the top 20, right? Tyrese Maxey at number 19 is pretty awesome. I'm going to go ahead and say that that's a little bit of, I don't know, maybe, 15 maybe? Maybe it should have been. I think Tyrese might be being undersold in this ranking, but I think that Paul is appropriately placed at number 21, having just tweaked his knee the other day, right? Because if he doesn't come back from that, if he's not 100%, right, then maybe he is the 21st best player in the league. But if the knee injury is not as bad as we all thought it was when we first saw it happen, then without a doubt, what we got here is one of the absolute best players in the league. we're going to be load managing him, so he's not going to be playing every game. He's going to have the opportunity to rest. He's going to have more than enough opportunity to heal that knee. And I think what we got here is a legitimate chance at a deep playoff run, if not a championship contention. One thing I will say is that load managing Joel Embiid and Paul George will absolutely have an impact on our standings at the end. There's no reason to. It's going to be very difficult for the Sixers to get something that they're absolutely going to need. The Sixers need a good seeding in the postseason. If we are not top 3 at the end of the year going into the postseason, we're gonna have a rough go. If we are once again in the play-in like last year and having to go against, having to play through a play-in round and having to fight the number 2 team early in the first round like we did last year with the Knicks or whatever, if we find ourselves in that sort of situation again, it's going to be a hard go. Pause. But if we can manage to load manage these guys, get them some rest, keep them healthy throughout the year, and approach the postseason from a top 3 seed, we might have a little bit easier way to go, right? Those teams that we're facing in the first and second round maybe are not the threat that we are hoping we don't have to deal with. Maybe they're not quite the challenge that forces us to play these guys super hard all postseason. I think we're in a good position. It's great to hear good news about Paul's knee. I think these ESPN rankings are fairly accurate. Again, I think that Paul would be higher in the rankings if his knee wasn't a consideration. I almost like that we're being kind of undersold here. We're still playing from a bit of an underdog position. We do have history behind us that does not necessarily inspire confidence, and that's all well and good. But it looks like the Sixers are in a decent position. If Nick Nurse is confident and Paul George is confident, because it's his knee, right? I ain't limping around on it, right? Neither are you. So if he feels like it's okay, there's no reason for him to lie to us about that. He could be out there hobbling around and saying, "Oh, I don't know if he could be making excuses for himself." He's not making excuses for himself. This is the thing I really enjoy about the Sixers team is we have guys who believe in themselves and are willing to bet on themselves, right? Kelly Oubre Jr. last year came here, ended up having one of his best offseason, one of his best regular season performances ever. This is a guy who could barely get a contract, came to the Sixers on like a veteran minimum, and has earned himself a contract because he performed to the degree that we really needed him to. Gershon Yabusele, the ultimate self-promoter, right? This is a guy who had to buy his way out of a European contract to come here and play for the Sixers, and is betting on himself to a degree that it cost him money to get here, right? And play for us and play for an opportunity. He has worked on his game. These are guys, Tyrese Maxey betting on himself. This is a guy who has gone out, improved himself physically, worked on his shot. It all looks like it's paying off. What my favorite thing about this team is that these guys believe in themselves, bet on themselves, and are doing everything in their power to make themselves better players and inspire confidence in the fans for them. So I think we're straight. I'll be in the stadium tonight with my girls, my wife and my daughter and I. We are going down to the game to watch the Sixers play the Nets. I don't know which Sixers we're going to watch, right? I don't know which Sixers we're going to watch, but we're going to go watch the Sixers. Hopefully it's a fun game. It'd be nice if it's competitive. I know we'll get to see some of that Jared McCain action, right? Jared McCain's been lighting it up. Apparently Ben Simmons, who may not play tonight because he just played his last game, he had like 11 points in 15 minutes, something like 5 rebounds. A decent showing as good a showing from Ben Simmons as we've seen in years, right? So maybe I'll see Ben tonight. I get to boo him a little bit. I get to see Jared McCain do his thing. I get to see Gershon Yabusele in person, and you guys get to hear about it afterwards. So stick with me. If you like the content, go down below. You know what I mean? RKO the sub button. Hit the like button. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you think, how you feel about this injury update on Paul George's knee, and I will holler at y'all in the next video. with a little bit of an update about last night's game and what I'm looking forward to in the regular season. Do yourself a favor, get close to God, and whatever you do good first. All right? Peace.